The real question is, do you believe that your event can help people? And if you do, then even if someone complains, it shouldn't really affect you. If you don't believe that it could help people, then if someone complains, you're like, oh yeah, sorry, I was bothering you. I was just trying to change your life. Does LinkedIn penalize you from inserting the YouTube video as you are taking people away from the platform? It's embedded. They could watch it inside of the platform. If I posted a YouTube video on the feed, they would definitely penalize me. But because I'm putting it in a newsletter, the distribution should be the same. Should we post our CTA so it shows up in the email? If so, where should we place it? You want to strategically put it somewhere towards the beginning or upwards of the middle so that I could be there. I think the first 1,300 characters show in the email. How about creating a header image with AI? If you wanted to do that, I would test different ones. So I'd almost publish similar articles. And then in one, I'd have your face with the title. And then in another, I'd have the AI. If you are weekly newsletter, how many times per week could you use your newsletter to promote live events? Have another call to action beyond your weekly content? That's a good question. The way that I see it is when I say 4, they're really 4 foundational, educational, or inspiring. Again, the articles that distribute your live events are going to be deleted. I wouldn't do it daily, but they're not the 4 foundational ones. Can companies also use LinkedIn newsletters, and which day are more popular for people to receive and read the newsletter? Yes, company pages can also use LinkedIn newsletters. And when I'm working with a client, there is no just generic answer like you should post on a Tuesday, because what we do is we test. And we test a lot, which is why my clients are consistent, because the answer also may be Wednesday is best for you. And so if I tell you, yeah, I've had the most success on Saturday, you have a different brand, you have a different audience. The same day and data may not apply. It's really just about running the appropriate tests. In your opinion, how many followers should we have to start a newsletter? This is a good question. If you don't have that many followers, you literally lose nothing by starting a newsletter, even with a couple hundred followers. And the reason is because as you grow, let's say you go from 300 followers, like 3,000 in a couple months. After you reach 3,000, you could launch a second newsletter, and then the initial subscriber base will be much bigger. But if you don't do anything, as you grow, you also won't start to get that data back. I've seen people that they wait too long because they want the right amount of followers, but even with a couple hundred, we would still have data where I could start to see some outliers if that person had been consistent. How do you write insightful articles every week without sharing all your secrets? I have difficulties finding that balance. The question that I would ask you is, why are you afraid to share all your secrets? That question, you're asking the wrong person, because I share a lot. And the clients that pay us value accountability. The clients that come to us, they know the play is in the free content, but there's nuance. I don't understand their specific business. I can't offer insight with the specific decisions that they have in their specific situation. They also value the accountability of the team and saving time. What should be expected regarding the number of registered attendees, the number of actual attendees? So this is a great question. It depends on whether you're posting content on your feed, which is why inside of Linkedinpreneurs, when we're working with you, you're going to need to post some short video. The reason is because even if you have a lot of followers or connections, if you only do the invite feature, you're not top of mind. They forgot who you were. Their trust, the same amount of trust is not there. Your registration rate and your attendance rate will be much lower versus someone like Maria. Maria can post an event. Her registration rate is going to be through the roof. Her attendance rate could be 35-ish%, almost 40%. Why? Because she's built that trust. Versus someone that never shows up, their attendance rate may be 5 to 10%. If they're on your regular email list and your newsletter, they could get a lot of emails around event time. Anyone ever complained? I'm sure they have. The better question is, do you care? The real question is, do you believe that your event can help people? And if you do, then even if someone complains, it shouldn't really affect you. If you don't believe that it could help people, then if someone complains, you're like, oh yeah, sorry, I was bothering you. I was just trying to change your life. Do you recommend going live alone? That's a great question. It depends what your goal is. There are some clients that come to us, they're more established, they have teams, they're CEOs. They don't necessarily need LinkedIn to get business. They have a book of business and they want to establish some thought leadership. A person like that could go live with other people more often because of third-party association and because they don't need direct sales within a short amount of time. If you need to convert within a short amount of time, you should only be going live by yourself. If you have yet to build a personal brand where I see what it is that you do, and I still don't have the ability to even associate you with that thing, then you should be going live by yourself. There comes a lot of times where we see coaches use collaboration as a crutch. They are afraid to do their lives alone. They're afraid to go live on video and audio alone. They're afraid to stand alone. And it's very hard for someone to understand what expertise they can pay you for if you're on a stage with 10 other people all the time or one other expert all the time, where they're taking 90% of mic time and where you don't really have anything of value to add to the conversation. If you want clients, then yes. What do you recommend on how to host LinkedIn Live? Which platform? I tried using a direct Zoom rather than StreamYard. It really just depends on tech skills and platform. I use StreamYard. It's the easiest to use, but Shankar uses Zoom. It's a preference. What's your opinion on podcasts versus LinkedIn Live? Would you repurpose the LinkedIn Live into podcasts or do different content? It depends. There are clients that start with us and they have a podcast. They have evidence that when people listen to their podcast, that then they turn into clients. Someone like that, I would say, why not turn it into a podcast? But if you're wanting to start a podcast and nothing else that you're doing is working and it's just going to stress you out, you really don't have the bandwidth, then it could be catch-22. Because I see people doing that. They can't handle what's on their plate, but then they want to start a podcast. Do you recommend posting daily to the feed? It depends. It depends what someone's goal is. I don't know what your goal is. It depends how many current connections you have already. If someone comes to me and they have 10,000 connections or followers, and their only goal is to get one B2B client a quarter, then I'm probably not going to have them focus too much on the feed posts. I'm going to have them double down, triple down on LinkedIn newsletters and live events because we have so much to tap into without the feed. If someone comes to me and they're like, I want to grow my following, and that's the main thing that matters to me, is visibility, so that I could leverage that influence to do in-person speaking or something, then I would advise daily posting on the feed, and the quality of the posting would have to be really good too. It just depends. That's why I like the strategy, the nuance, the one-on-ones are important.